Welcome to One-on-One, the Daily Items weekly digital program featuring Susquehanna Valley newsmakers interviewed by Daily Item reporters. Today's guest is Jessica Paquin, the outreach coordinator for the campus theater, interviewed by reporter Emma Ganader.
Sunbury Motors needs your truck. Whether it's a Ford, Chevy, Dodge, or even an import, SMC will give you the most money for your truck. Period. Sunbury Motors is going to make it easier for you to trade too, with a selection of over 125 new Ford trucks with savings up to $13,650. New 2018 Ford F-150s start as low as $25,993. And SMC has 4 city blocks of new trucks to choose from. New arrivals include 4 special edition 2018 Ford Raptors and the all-new blacked-out 2018 F-250 Terminator. A must-see! The 2018 Ford F-150 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year and has been America's best-selling truck for 41 consecutive years. One is sold every 39 seconds. Sunbury Motors has an awesome selection, including regular cabs, super cabs, Super Cruise, with STX, XLT, Lariat, and King Ranch trucks clearly marked with blowout prices. See why SMC is Central Pennsylvania's Ford truck capital. Sunbury Motors in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza.
Welcome to One-on-One, the Daily Items weekly digital program. I'm reporter Emma Ganader. Our guest today is Jessica Paquin, the outreach coordinator for the campus theater in Lewisburg. Upcoming in July, they are hosting their second Hitchcock Film Festival. Jessica, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I hear the Hitchcock Festival started last year and was a surprise hit for you. I know the campus theater has a great directors and great actors series, but those subjects usually change. So why did you decide to do Hitchcock again this year?
Sure. Hitchcock is quintessential to cinema. I mean, he made over 60 incredible films that are landmark films even in today's standards. They still hold up. So we did the series last year. Again, surprise, we had almost sold out every show. So there's definitely a need and a want for it in the area. So we're trying it again with some new titles, and we'll see what people think about this round of Hitchcock's films.
So why do you think it was so popular?
I'm not sure. Again, he's everybody knows who Hitchcock is. He's been dead for years now, but everybody knows him and knows his films. And I think that just the opportunity to see them in a historic location, a beautiful place like this, with a friendly staff, and I think it's just the right place to do it. And I think that definitely draws people in.
So can you tell us a little bit about the historic contributions Hitchcock has had to cinema?
Absolutely. I mean, he's an icon. He created some of the shots that still get used today. There's a scene in Psycho where the detective gets stabbed and he falls down the stairs. That tracking shot is still used in like Jaws. There's that famous tracking shot. So I mean, those are techniques that are still used, absolutely. And even the storytelling technique through the director's eyes is something that he really kind of brought to the mainstream and kind of took it out of the art house cinema and into the mainstream. So he's a pioneer.
Nice. Which of Hitchcock's films will be screened this year?
Okay, we've got, let's see, The Lady Vanishes, a very early one of his works, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, and Strangers on a Train, with The Dial-In for Murder, and let's see, To Catch a Thief. Right. So some classic Hitchcock films.
So how did you choose which films to screen this time around?
A lot of it has to do with the distribution rules. Every distributor has different rules and regulations to their copyrights. So some of them that we actually wanted aren't available because there's no copyright out there for them. So they're kind of in between studios or what have you. So some of them we had to put on the back burner for next year or whenever they get picked up. But that does affect our decision making as far as what movies we can show, as whether or not we can show them.
How long does it take to plan a festival like this?
Usually around 6 weeks. If we have something in mind that we want to do for a festival, then or a series in this case, because like a festival implies that it's one after the other. This is more of a series, so it's a weekly kind of a thing. But we sit down, we come up with a nice list of our top what we want, and then kind of the B list of what we would take if we can't get what we want. And then we all discuss it together and what would be popular, what would people like, and versus what do we need to see, what would people really need to see on the big screen, kind of a thing. And then we narrow down those titles. We get with our booker booker. We have a booker that we work with out of Connecticut, and he does great for us. And we give him our list of wants, and he comes back with a list of can'ts. Yeah. And then we go through and we find what we can show. And so that's a lot of planning with that, with the distributors, et cetera. And then, we get it all together, get it in print, and off it goes. So, usually around 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow. Do you have to do any restoration for the films before they are screened, or how do you make sure the systems are compatible with them?
Sure. Well, some of the distributors offer it in certain formats, and we are very fortunate because we can show all three formats. We can show Blu-ray, DVD, we can show DCP, digital cinema projection, and we can also show 35 millimeter. Yeah. So depending on the distributor and how they, if they're like, look, we'll let you show this movie, but it has to be through the historical archives, then sometimes we do have to do some prep work. And we have a technical director named Andy Seal who's incredible with the old film stock, and he can clean it and recut it together and make it look, super great. And he's been well trained, white glove treatment on the historic archives. But most of these are going to be Blu-ray, which it looks fantastic on the screen, and it sounds great, and so there's no problem with it whatsoever. But it depends on the distributor for sure.
Nice. One of the films that really caught out to me was Dial M for Murder, which is interesting because if I remember correctly, the second half is completely, the woman who is accused of murder is completely not in the room when they're trying to figure it out. So it's just interesting, and it brings up something that is currently going on in the cinema world, in regards to women. Hitchcock had a reputation for being a misogynist. Scholars have critiqued his female characters as being either vixens that need to be controlled, or figures that lacked agency. And then there's also the fact that Tippi Hedren, the actress from Birds, went on record to say that Hitchcock sexually assaulted and manipulated her. In the era of Me Too, do you think it's possible to reconcile Hitchcock's historical influence on film history with his behavior? If so, how can we discuss Hitchcock's influence without whitewashing his behavior?
Sure. Having a dialogue about it is really the only way to be able to... You can't go back and change what's already been done. I mean, he made these movies, and they are what they are, and yes, there's a lot of damsels in distress and a lot of vixens who need to be tamed, and times were different then, and I think it says something to history. It's like ignoring the topic of slavery because it's an uncomfortable topic. But having an open dialogue about about women in film and what it means then and what it means now is the best way to do it. And to look at that as this is the way it used to be, but it's not that way anymore. And then move on and try and do better from now on in the film industry.
So how do we open up that dialogue?
Exactly like we're doing. I mean, seriously, if you look back at these movies and you watch it and you say, wow, that's a very strange portrayal of a woman, think about the time and think about the era and, have that discussion about why was it different then? What was the housewife, then versus now? What is the single parent? How do women? We're just so different now than we were then. There's different expectations from us and for us. So the dialogue happens because of great movies like this. Because things were different, and we can look back and say, wow, I'm glad things aren't like that anymore. Or man, can't believe it's still like that. We need to change it.
That's a really good point, and that brings me to my next question is. One trend I've noticed is like the editing and re-looking back at history and putting back in marginalized people into cinema history. For example, the increasing focus on Lois Weber, one of the first female directors, Star Wars, the classic film Star Wars having a more diverse set of heroes, Get Out being about both kind of subverting and commenting on horror film conventions and tropes, and then Ocean's 8 and Ghostbusters being remade with all-female cast. And I was just wondering, why do you think this trend is happening now, and What do you make about the pushback to these changes?
I think it's exactly what we were talking about. It's looking at the past and seeing what we've done there and saying, you know what, this isn't right. Let's try this with women. You know, let's get a woman director in here and try this. And you know, like a great example is Wonder Woman, and you know, the director of that was a woman, and I don't think it would have been the same if it wouldn't have been a woman. You know, so look, I think that you know, I don't think there should be any pushback, but of course there will be. Anytime you try to change anything, there's pushback. But I think that having, you know, older films and historic films of this nature and showing people what it used to be and what it can be, it's a great thing. And I think that, you know, hey, let's try and do Ocean's 8 with, you know, Ocean's 11 with all a female cast. Why not? You know, and it worked with The Odd Couple. Let's give it a shot. So I'm all for it. And I hope the trend continues, honestly.
Right.
And female directors have been around for a long time, but, you know, to have one finally, you know, nominated for an Academy Award was just like, I can't believe it took so long. So it's just one of those things. We see where we were, see where we need to be, and let's try and get there.
Nice. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with more one-on-one.
Sunbury Motors needs your truck. Whether it's a Ford, Chevy, Dodge, or even an import, SMC will give you the most money for your truck. Period. Sunbury Motors is going to make it easy for you to trade too, with a selection of over 125 new Ford trucks with savings up to $13,650. New 2018 Ford F-150s start as low as $25,993. And SMC has 4 city blocks of new trucks to choose from. New arrivals include 4 special edition 2018 Ford Raptors and the all-new blacked-out 2018 F-250 Terminator. A must-see! The 2018 Ford F-150 is Motor Trend's Truck of the Year and has been America's best-selling truck for 41 consecutive years. One is sold every 39 seconds. Sunbury Motors has an awesome selection, including regular cabs, super cabs, Super Cruise, with STX, XLT, Lariat, and King Ranch trucks clearly marked with blowout prices. See why SMC is Central Pennsylvania's Ford Truck Capital. Sunbury Motors in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza.
Welcome back to One-on-One. I'm here with Jessica Paquin, the Outreach Director for the Campus Theater in Lewisburg. Jessica, right before break, we were talking about the importance of Wonder Woman and having female directors. And one question I wanted to ask you is, with the success of Wonder Woman and Black Panther, there's been a lot of conversations about representation and what qualifies as good representation and how those stories should be told. What do you think qualifies as good representation?
Just a diverse mix, really. I mean, I think that there's, you know, in any part in a movie that it can probably be put in an Asian actress or a black actor. It doesn't have to be so. It doesn't have to be so, no, I had in mind, this was Gwyneth Paltrow. You know what I mean? It's expanding their point of view a little bit and casting a little differently. That's all it takes, is really just one part that it's like, you know what, let's try Samuel L. Jackson in this and see what it's like, you know? And again, then magic happens and it's amazing. And I'm sorry, there was a second part of the question that
what qualifies as good representation and how can we get kind of people who represented not only in front of camera but behind camera?
Sure, yeah. Well, Hollywood's a very incestual place. You start out, if you grow up in Hollywood and live in Hollywood and that's what you do with your life, then it's fairly easy for you because you're just in that, you know, that's just where you are. Yeah. And unfortunately, you know, through the years, this just hasn't been a place with much diversity in it, you know. So I think that having having people trying to get into the industry, it's a hard thing to do, but I think that keep trying, go to school for it, and get out there and get in the business, man. Because I hear once you're in, you can't get out. And I've been making movies now for 10 years, so it's it is tough to get out of. Yeah. But no one should be, regardless of race, creed, color, sex, gender. It doesn't matter. Everyone should be trying to get a piece of that apple pie in Hollywood. So I say go for it.
Nice. What other special series and events do you have planned for the summer at the campus theater?
Yeah, absolutely. We actually have a course program that's going on Monday afternoons at 2 o'clock. It's Clint Eastwood movies. It's a course that Bucknell is teaching. And those are open to the public, which is cool. They're free and open to the public. But another great thing we're doing is the family film series, the summer family film series. This is our 5th year doing it. We show free family-friendly movies to everyone at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoons. It's great. It's crowded. It's fun. It's packed. It's kids. It's just laughter, and I just love this place being full of kids, and it's really, really great. So.
And what family films are you doing this year?
Oh my gosh, we've got such good ones. Charlotte's Web is today. We've got The Secret of Nim coming, which is one of my childhood favorites. The Karate Kid, Paddington 2, which we didn't get to show in our regular repertoire.
I love Paddington 2.
Paddington, the first one was amazing, so can't wait. I can't wait. The Black Stallion, we've showed it here before, so that's we're going to show it here again. Despicable Me 3, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the classic, the original version, of course. The Muppet Movie, my all-time favorite, and The Princess Bride, which is everybody's favorite. So again, The Princess Bride is a great example of gender neutrality in the sense that everybody thinks that it's called The Princess Bride, so it's a girl movie. It's for everybody. Everybody loves The Princess Bride.
What do you love most about The Princess Bride?
Oh, well, I'm a girl, so Wesley. I mean, I've had a crush on that guy since the first time I saw the movie, for sure. But I just love the story. I have the book. The book is amazing. So to watch it come to life on screen is just incredible.
Yeah. And on a really nice big screen, too. How old is the theater?
Yep, it's been here for 76 years. Wow. Yeah, 1941 is when it opened. So it's a really cool place to come and see some of these classic movies.
Nice. And many have said the campus theater acts as an anchor store for downtown Lewisburg. Why do you think this theater is able to provide that anchor for the community?
Sure. Well, thanks to our partnership with Bucknell University, they were able to, renovate the place, which is great, and that definitely helps because it was falling apart. I was here when it was, falling down, so it's great to have a partnership like that where they can step in and help, with some of the building expenses, which it saves us quite a bit. But we're an anchor here because, I think we're great for the businesses downtown because of our hours. Yeah. We do stuff usually after businesses have completed, so you go shopping, you have dinner, then you come to see a movie. So it works out nicely. And even these afternoon things that we do, 2 o'clock is the kids' movie. They get out at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Everybody's in Sweet Frog. Everybody's shopping. Everybody's out there running around. So these are really great things for the businesses downtown. But I think that we've remained such an anchor just because people believe in it. I mean, we really do. I walked in the doors, like I said, it was falling down around my ears, and I still felt the magic of the place and said, you know what, this place has so much potential. There's so much we can do with it. We just got to get everybody back involved. And then the renovations happened, and it was so easy for everybody to walk in and just be taken aback and like, what can I do to help make sure that this keeps going? So it's, community support is really what's making this place happen and pop, and how we're able to do these wonderful programs and these free and very inexpensive things so that everybody can come and enjoy them. It's all from community support.
And what do you think makes community independent movie theaters like this so special and magical?
We're a dying breed, that's for sure. We're one of, I think, 14 single-screen Art Deco theaters left in the United States. Most of the rest of them are all on the West Coast. The same designer that designed this, the architect Sepowitz, he did 11 other theaters in the area, and they're all closed now except for ours and one other one. So having a place like this is an absolute it's a rarity. It's a gem. It really is. And people who, go to other theaters and go to the multiplex, go to the mall, check it out, and then come here, and then you'll see why we're still here and we're thriving and doing so well.
And is there any film series that you would like to do in the future, like a Christopher Guest film series or a Spielberg film series, which we were talking about over the break?
Absolutely. We've got all sorts of plans. I mean, there's so many great directors out there. There's so many great themes that you can do. I mean, you can do all-women directors and have a great lineup of films. I mean, you could do... And the problem is that, each one of these comes with copyright fees. Yeah. Like I said, we can't show anything to the public without paying the copyright fees, and we're very adamant about that, and so it's expensive, you know, and so getting underwriting for these kinds of series, and that's the tough part. So if anybody wants to support an all-women film series, let me know, because we would really like to do some fun things here, and it's all about getting the grant funding to pay for those copyrights so that the public can come in and enjoy it.
How do you get underwriting for these films, and how can someone sponsor one?
Sure. Well, we get grant funding for the summer film series from the Woodcock Foundation for the Appreciation of the Arts and the Hudock Capital Group. They give us the funding to pay the copyrights, help us with staffing, that sort of stuff, which is fantastic. We wouldn't be able to do it without them, that's for sure. But it's basically just contacting us and saying, hey, here's a great idea for a series. We want our name attached, and it's as simple as that. And then we come up with the cost of the copyrights and the cost of the sponsorship, and what do you know? You got your own film series. So it's, you know, it can happen.
And now, can you tell me a little bit about your partnership with both Geisinger and Bucknell?
Sure. Geisinger does. They do our open caption screenings every Saturday afternoon at 5. We show an open caption screenings for people with hearing difficulties. So we have the words on the screen while the action's going on, and Geisinger sponsors that, so they pay for the staffing and the copyright for that particular screening, which is fantastic. And then Bucknell, they own the building. So, you know, for lack of a better term, they're our landlord. They take care of the building and make sure that everything's, you know, safe and up and up to code in here, and then we can concentrate on programming and staffing and making sure that everything's on the up and up out there. So it's an absolutely incredible partnership that we have with them.
Right. One final question. What was your favorite film to watch here, and can you tell us people how they can attend the Hitchcock Film Festival?
Sure.
And the Family Film Festival.
Yeah, probably my favorite one was we showed Pee-wee's Big Adventure here on the big screen. And I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure when I was very little. And so to watch it in here with a whole new group of kids was amazing. Of course, I was the only one laughing at some of the jokes because it's a little over their heads, but that's okay. It was just really fun to share that kind of, I remember how I felt when I saw this, and now they're seeing it too. So the kids' movies I really love. I love to come in and watch it with them, but Pee-wee's Big Adventure was by far my favorite.
You should do a special Christmas showing of the Pee-wee.
The Pee-wee Christmas special is the best. It's and the original Pee-wee's Playhouse special that they did on HBO is amazing as well. I'm a huge Pee-wee fan. I know it's really weird, but
no, I watch it every Christmas with my friend Walker. So
some people are like, "Ooh, was there a second part to that question that I missed?"
Can you tell people? Can you tell the audience how they can attend the Hitchcock Film Festival, the Family Film Festival?
Details on that, yes.
I mean, series, not
absolutely,
festival.
Yes. The Hitchcock film series, it's taking place starting in July. Our first title is July the 10th with The Lady Vanishes. It's going to be $5 general admission because we weren't able to get the underwriting, but then it's free for our members because our members help pay for everything in here. We couldn't do it without them. So the doors open at 6:30. Movie starts right at 7 o'clock. We're hoping to have some introductions by one of our resident professors that hang out here, so they can do a little introduction of things to look for in the film and some topics to think about while you watch the movie. You know, we like you to learn something too when you come in here. And then the summer film series is every Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Doors open at 1:30. If you got a big family, get here early because they fill up really fast.
Nice. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else you would like to add before we close out?
Or? Emma, I love having you and the Daily Item in here anytime you can. I absolutely love it. And, you know, come check us out if you haven't already.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. That's it for today's edition of One-on-One. Thanks to our guest, Jessica, and to all of you for watching.
Thank you for watching One-on-One. We hope you will join us this coming Thursday at noon for a new installment.